Hello guys, Michael here with another video. Today I want to talk about what actually works when it comes to attracting and dating women through interactions. Well, I can not even think of one case when interactions was not important to attract a woman, where the man's passive value was everything that was needed and she was all in for him. I mean, obviously it happens, but for women that have male attention, that happens rarely, absolutely rarely. So I don't even calculate that as something. I mean, exception of the rules are everywhere. Who cares about them? Let's focus on the main part that works for the vast majority of all women and people in general, all right? So when I go out with pickup guys, I'm talking about, mystery, and I'm talking about people that have been, expert within the pickup artist community, RSD, Ross Jeffries clientele, a lot of London day gamers, people they're using, Tom Torero's old system where they, go up to women on the street and make, do a couple of routines to make them, attracted, or at least try to make them attracted. I feel quite small many times, I have to say. I mean, I feel confident, no question, but it's like I don't feel like, oh, I am the best one here, so I'm going to do things to get her attention, like this attention era. Many times when I went out with mystery guys, for example, they were all hyped. Also, people, they're focusing on direct opener things, direct game. They are so in hype with what they are doing. So when they come, their presence is enormous sometimes. It's like, wow, here I am. I will get their attention. I will be, like the loudest person in the room. I'm not like that. That's not my personality either. So every time I going out with these guys, I feel small. It's like attentionally wise, not confidently, but attentionally. When it comes to attention, I don't feel like this big guy, that trying to get a lot of attention or even get a lot of attention. I don't really. What is my game book here then? How can I in some way beat all those guys? It's not a competition, but how can I actually attract those women for real? While those guys are just, seeking attention. And with that attention, they believe that they can attract them in some way. I can tell you directly, some of the women actually got attracted, especially if there is, this alcoholic environment. I mean, women are not normally as they normally are. So that's sort of a different story. But still, there are intoxicated, normal human beings. And what I notice is that I'm so confident in my ability to talk with women that when it is time, I just go in quite, I would not say low energy, but not high energy either. I just go in with a pretty balanced energy level with curiosity. So I can easily go in and say like, oh, by the way, when you said that this is absolutely the best place to go to, I'm curious, when you say the best place, what comes to your mind? I'm just very curious about that. That is many times enough for her to drop everything what those attention-grabbing guys are doing, and then she won't explain to me what she actually think about the place. And then she's completely hooked. And I don't need to chase her attention and all that. I just need to be good with timing, when to actually go in and ask a curious question. It had been working wonders. I remember one time when, I will not say the name, but I remember one time when I went out with this monster guru, someone who is really big in the pickup artist industry. And he was, he's done that for the last 15 years. He was really good looking as well. And I went together with him, walking around. And then we saw a group of girls, and then he just blasted in and then did his thing. And the only thing I did was to listen to him and see how the women, reacted to him. They were laughing. There was a lot of energy, obviously, yes. But I knew directly that this is not connection-based material. You don't really create human connection here. It's just a lot of amusement only. I was like, okay, so when it's time, I will, let the whole energy level drop a little bit, and then I will just go in with curiosity. So that is what I did. After a while, the women were like going down a little bit, go down 1 or 2 notch in energy level, and they will start talking pretty normally. And that dating guru, he's not bad. He can have a normal conversation, but not based on conversational skills academically. And that is where I came in. I went directly in and used everything they said about certain things, and I asked about them to make meaningful conversations, because I wanted to have meaningful conversations, because I know that it's only through meaningful conversations where I can make an impact. So what I actually did here was that I took what they said and I asked about those things that I am curious about myself. And I wanted them to elaborate their thoughts, their thinking around those words, around those elements, around those things that they already revealed to me. But only I could hear them, because a listener can't hear them. He can't hear the cues. And even though he hears a cue, he just don't know how to elaborate. He don't know how to use that cue, that specific word, a keyword I used to call it, and then make a meaningful conversation out of it. He just don't know how to do that. I know exactly how to do that. And I know exactly how to ask questions and how to reveal something about myself or say something about myself and then ask a follow-up question. I know exactly how to balance the conversation so it doesn't feel like an interview. I know exactly how to do that. Every time it works beautifully, and it always leave all those pickup artist gurus in shock. Because what happened that night for the best pickup artist out there, he was ignored completely. And he eventually told me that, you know what, let's get out of here. I don't want to stay here anymore. And those women, they were just all over me. They asked, they wanted to explain things. They thought I was great and they were laughing and all that. And why were they laughing? Well, because I made a lot of fun things based on them. I made the whole thing based on them. And when you are making comments, when you are making statements, when you are actually making the conversation about them, they're having a great time. They just love it and they're laughing a lot because it's about them, right? What I want to tell you now is that you many times might have that limiting belief that you have to be someone in terms of being an extrovert, being this very extrovertic in order to attract women, to be the guy that is in the center of attention. That's bullshit. You don't need that at all. Not at all. Because we know from the science that in order to get women to really feel attraction, we need to create emotional connection first. That is based on safety and trust. Connection is based on understanding, basically. It's based on empathy, all right? It's not based on amusement. It's not based on being cool, being playful. Is based on being able to understand each other and then also make them feel seen, heard, and valued. That is what it means. Do I mean that being flirtatious and all that doesn't mean anything? Of course it does. But that will be in a different stage. Being flirtatious, being cool, being all that without emotional connection is like shooting yourself in the foot. It doesn't give any direct impact. You need to create an environment where she feels something first. She feels connected with you. She feels emotional connected with you. And then she starts feeling attraction towards you. And then during that time, when you already establish a connection, like, I get you, I understand you. Now you can use a lot of different flirtatious techniques and methods in order to make sure that she understands that you're liking her for the right reasons. Because we have to show her that we like her, because that creates this reciprocity effect. We tend to love people that love us. We tend to like people that like us, you see? And if she can feel like you're really liking her for the right reason, she will almost immediately trigger the reciprocity process of her liking you back. Isn't that amazing? But if you would go too early and just telling her that, oh, you're so beautiful, I really like your style, how you dress, how you walk, I mean, your eyes so beautiful, I like you. That is not a reason enough for her to feel liked. The only thing you feel is that you appreciate her physical beauty and therefore you want to sleep with her. You want to do something sexual with her. And that's why you're telling all those stuff. But does she feel like you are liking her for real? Even if you do, no, she don't feel that at all. So that is actually something that goes against you than with you. I've seen many guys that have done quite well, not schooled conversationalists, but they are talking normally, trying to create some kind of connection, even though the connection part might not be that high. And then they start with these flirtatious things and everything just breaks down. The whole car just crashed and she's not interested anymore. And why is that? Well, most of the guys that are in that situation haven't been able to create enough emotional connection. So we need emotional connection as a foundation to spark attraction. So back to the story again. Another story was when I went out with 5 pickup artist guys that also wanted to test my skills. Not themselves, but they want to see me how I am out in the field, so to speak. And obviously, I just do what I do. I just talk to them normally, being curious. And I remember that time when they said that, wow, if anyone can hold a conversation that lasts for more than 3 minutes, that guy is good. And I was thinking like, oh my God, that is like nothing. But fine, let's go ahead and do it. That was a day game session, by the way. So we went out and I started to approach, they approached it a lot. And then obviously the best pickup artist guy got like 10 rejections and maybe one would stay and start talking with them. The other 10, he couldn't hold the conversation for more than 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds and got rejected. And now it was my turn. Let's say that, I don't remember exactly the amount, but let's go for the lower side. Let's say that we all approached 15 women during that summit, all right? So I went in and approached 15 women. And I could speak over 5 minutes where I had to break off and say, you know what, I don't have time anymore. I have to go to my friends again, but it was nice to meet you, see you. Or something like that. And sometimes I closed, oh, by the way, maybe we can meet later. Give me your Instagram or what about WhatsApp? Yeah, obviously, yeah. But anyway, that's a different story. I could basically close the majority of them. But the thing is that the main part was to see how long we can hold the conversation. That was the main topic we had during that day. I managed to speak with 12 or 15 women over 5 minutes easily. Someone that I spoke over 10 minutes and I had to break off because I didn't have time. And everyone was so shocked because they had been studying game for the last 15, 20 years and they couldn't pull it off. They just couldn't pull it off. They just didn't know what to do. They just went to this numbers game. They went with a numbers game, and hopefully someone stick. For me, it was so easy because it was based on curiosity. When you're curious about other people, they feel like you are authentic. They feel like you are a real person. And women love to talk with real men, real normal persons, having a real conversation. But doing a lot of routines and being, you know, this, wow, I'm cool, blah, blah, blah. They don't like that. And also they don't know you. So it's even worse than they just don't like it. So that is also one of the situations where I really killed it in that way. And it's not because I'm super cool myself or super special. Well, I'm using real conversational skills, which no one else are doing. So obviously I'm going to be killing it. It's almost like attending a sprinter to run 100 meters with someone who's not training for sprint. Let's take a football player or something, or soccer player. Basketball player, and that guy is going to, you know, compete with a sprinter. I mean, most of the time it's ridiculous, right? That is basically the same thing. I'm using conversational skills. They are using something else. If they would be using conversational skills, that would be a completely different story. But I am competing with people that are not using conversational skills. So it's so sick. It's almost like a chess player, for example. Let's say a top chess player. I saw this clip in Sweden where Magnus Carlsen, the world champion in chess, he played chess against Bill Gates. And Bill Gates is a brilliant guy in terms of intelligence, I believe. Obviously, he will lose immediately, which he did, yes? And why is that? Well, it's because, number one, maybe, I mean, now it's extreme because Magnus Carlsen is the world champion. But even though Bill Gates are competing with a very proficient grandmaster in chess, he will lose directly. Because Bill Gates don't practice chess. He knows how to play, but he doesn't practice it. He doesn't use the real methodologies when it comes to being a good chess player. And here is the same thing with, you know, with my experience with pickup artists. They're using a lot of different techniques that they have developed themselves, or some guru have developed it based on his own experience or whatever. And then when I just look at it, it's like I'm competing with people without conversational skills. In conversation. So we're going to have conversation with people where I am using conversational skills, methods, and all that, while they are using something else. I mean, it's a silly comparison. That is also one of the reasons why I'm doing this. That's why I'm talking to you right now, because I think it's bizarre. And I think there are so many guys that need this help. I mean, dating and attracting women today is really hard. It's not easy. Most guys find that really depressing. And I think that we have some sort of a epidemic of single men today because they just don't know how to spark attraction in women. They don't know how to create emotional connection that leads somewhere. And all that is because they lack the interactional skills when they're talking to them. They lack that conversation. And I'm very surprised that the pickup artist community haven't, you know, figured this one out either. It's shocking. And that is also one of the reasons why I believe that the pickup artist community never became big. I remember back in the days, long time back in the days, when things were quite promising. I mean, Mr. Method, for example, had his own TV show, 𝐉𝐨𝐬𝐽1, pickup artist, I think the show's name was. And he could actually kill it. He could actually become really big and helping thousands of, millions of guys actually having a reasonable good strategy of how to, you know, date and attract women so they don't have to stay single. But it never became really big, and instead it backfired a lot. Oh, those strategies doesn't work. I feel like a robot. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel any authenticity in it. I can't pretend to be someone I'm not, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of things came as a critic of those methods that's supposed to be really big, supposed to be valid. But over the years, they never became big. I haven't heard and seen any pickup artist method become big. And when I look at the data now, I can see why it's not big. Because there is no relevant knowledge in those methods. I mean, they might be right on some small things here and there, but as a core foundation, as the course overall, is terrible. There is no communication, theoretical skills in there. Nothing. Instead, there are a lot of things that goes against the science. So do you want to learn something that goes against the scientific community in behavioral science and interpersonal communication? Of course not, yes. That is where we are today. People don't know conversational skills. And pickup artist guru are no exceptions. Even though they have been approaching with a lot of women using their routine-based material, did they actually become good at conversation with women? No. They become good at those routines over and over again. But do they have a flexible mind that when they don't use routine, they just go free-flowly, using the brain's cognitive flexible function? Could they actually be good? No. No one was good. And trust me, I made role play with basically all of them. And everyone wasn't even in the beginning stage. They were not even a beginner. I mean, they were like in the absolute early stage of being a beginner when it comes to conversational skills. There was not like a semi-beginner. They are on its way to being intermediate. So I even spoke with guys that had been talking with 10,000 women. Like, he approached 10,000 times and he had done this, he had done that. He was clueless when it comes to conversational skills after 10,000 cold approaches, because he was just relying on specific routines all the time, that the only thing he did was to use those routines over and over again. And that was what he was good at, those routines. If that guy would go and talk with a normal guy without any romantic interest, he would fail immediately, because he don't have conversational skills. But someone who have conversational skills, he will be able to attract and date women in the best possible way, optimal way. And then suddenly when he's talking to someone who have huge career potential, he will just talk with them in the same way, but remove the romantic inputs and put more about engaging inputs. So he could actually make that person feel like, wow, I had a great conversation. This guy is trustworthy. This guy is very ambitious. This guy is smart. So I want to work with him easily, because that is also part of being cognitive flexible. The pickup artist guys, they're good at routines, and that's it. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this video. I think it's important for all of you guys to hear that you don't have to be this very extroverted guy to be charismatic enough to date and attract women. You don't, really. So it is sort of a myth that you need to be the loudest man in the room in order to get the women's attention. Otherwise, they will feel like you're boring and they don't want to date you or have anything to do with you. That is a big myth. That is not the reality. So take that with you, and I'll see you in the next video.